right, so today we're going to cover how to winterize a pressure washer. Now the basics of winterizing a pressure washer are simple. We're going to do an engine oil change as well as a pump oil change. We're going to do a few additional things. We're going to replace the air filter on your pressure washer. These get gunked up over the course of the year. A new one at the end of the year is very affordable. These are $10 or so. And this is going to help your engine run much smoother that next year, especially after heavy use that these things endure during EcoWash busy season. Now, the engine oil here, it's just the basics. It's the simple 4-stroke engine oil, that SAE 10W30, but we are going to put in an additive. We're going to put in some seafoam. Now, seafoam works great for adding to gas or to oil. We're going to actually do it in both, but the reason we do it for the oil is because we want this to clean the system of that engine when it runs that next season, so that everything is nice and clean and runs much better. This really will revive an engine that will not run into an engine that will run just fine. It's a fantastic product. Now, we are going to add this as well into the gas. You don't want to refill the gas at the end of the year. You would ideally want to have it completely drained, which you can do, and I can demonstrate here. Otherwise, you can just leave the gas in it that's already in there. This will help to stabilize that gas. There's also a fuel stabilizer that you can use as well, and I can show that in a clip here soon. But you add that into the gas, just a few ounces into the gas can, 1 ounce into the engine oil after you replace that engine oil, and that's gonna help everything run much smoother. Now, we're also going to put in some pump saver into the pump. What this is an expanding foam. We screw this, I'll demonstrate this today later in the video, but you screw it in right here, it'll shoot out through the pump, expand, and get rid of all of the water that is built up in your pump. Now, having water in this pump over the winter is a very bad idea, as it can get trapped in between different valves in that pressurizing system, expand, and will crack the valves. Now, this is a really high quality pump, but some pumps will have plastic valves. Those are very easy to crack over the winter, especially when plastic gets cold, it's much more brittle. Now, this may have brass or some other sort of metal inside that pump, but it really doesn't matter. This is cheap and that's expensive, so we're gonna work on that. Otherwise, that's really everything you need to do. Replace the air filter, pump oil, engine oil, stabilize the gas, and put seafoam in the engine oil and the gas can, and you're gonna be just fine. All right, let's start with the air filter. So what we need to do for the air filter, it's right in this component here. Now, this air filter is an oval-shaped one. It's fairly tall. You'll see some, and we can put a video here on a picture here on screen, but some are flat. This one is an oval shape. And you'll see this on the higher quality Mighty M's as well as the high quality Simpsons, but some of the cheaper machines will just have a flat one that's simple. Now all you have to do is just remove all of these wing nuts here and take this out. That's all that there is to it. Now you can see this one's really dirty. This is what a brand new one looks like. You can replace these. However, oftentimes what happens is this foam receives the brunt of the burden here. And this foam is completely removable. So when we remove this foam, you can see this air filter actually looks pretty good. You know, it's not perfectly clean by any means, but finding one that is the exact same size as, you know, what fits your machine can be a bit of a challenge. This one's not the exact same size, so it's not gonna fit nearly as well with this cover on top of it. So what we're gonna do, we are gonna take this and we are gonna clean it out so it looks like this. You can also just buy a replacement part for it. But let's go clean this out and then we'll get back to you. All right, so we've got some soapy water here. This is very simple. We're just going to apply this filter. We're going to work it around in there to remove some of this dust and some of this grime. And then all we're gonna do from here is we are going to wash this off. It's already starting to clean this off quite a bit. And then we're gonna let this dry. You can just put this on completely dry, or you can get a little bit of engine oil and put that on this here. I would just take a look at exactly what the manufacturer recommends. I mean, go take a look at Google if you really need to, as far as if that's perfectly acceptable. All right, after cleaning, I don't know if the light will really show it, but this thing is considerably cleaner than before. So what you should do, sit this on a shelf, let it dry a little bit, maybe do this first so it can dry out completely. What we're gonna do today is we're just gonna take a brand new foam filter. We're gonna apply this around this old one. And we're just gonna put this thing right back in. Put this wing nut on. Crush that down a little bit. Put this cap right back on, and you want to apply it just the same way as you found it. Make sure these are tightened down well. And now your air filter has been replaced. Okay, so now we're gonna add some seafoam. We're gonna add it into the gas today, but again, you would add it into the oil as well. Just add in 1 ounce to your oil. Now, this gives you instructions right on the can on how to use it. So I have Seafoam, the brand name, but I also have from Walmart here, SuperTech Motor Treatment. They are identical products, they will work just the same. Grab whichever one is easier or more convenient. Really, any motor treatment, this works just fine for gas, diesel, or oil. It's gonna be perfect. The way this works, it's very simple. You just dump it straight into your gas. I would add 2 ounces per gallon of fuel. Now, that's if you know how much fuel is in here, okay? So I would recommend getting a good idea of how much fuel is in here. If you happen to not know at all, just add 1.5 ounces or 2 ounces. It will be just fine for that first use. The way that this works, this cleans out fuel injectors, cleans out any sort of fuel passageway, cleans out your carburetors, and then make sure that the entire fuel line system runs very smoothly. So we're gonna demonstrate right now. We're gonna open up the gas and we're gonna add in just a small amount. I already know there's seafoam in here. So we're gonna add a little bit, but don't go crazy heavy on this, but you don't need to be careful. This is not an exact science. The more you add, the more it's going to clean. Don't go crazy. You really wanna clean out these systems maybe once a year, which is why we're doing it during the winterizing process. If you are having trouble with an engine that's not running perfectly fine, you may wanna add some of this during the season as well. But over cleaning the system could damage some of the pistons in here and the valves so they don't work as perfectly. We want to make sure these valves are sealing just fine and the pistons are firing well. Over cleaning can be a little bit of a problem. So this is something that you just need to do once a year, maybe twice if you're having any issues. All right, now we're going to add the pump saver. Again, pump saver is for getting rid of all the water in your pump so you can't let it freeze. It's a very simple thing to apply. So this is going to go into where the water goes into your pressure washer, okay? So you screw it in there. It's very simple. We're gonna shake this up slightly. And we're gonna take this and cover where it's gonna shoot out. Now, for demonstration, I won't, and I'm gonna make a huge mess. And then we're gonna cover this up. And that's all you need to do. You do not need to use a full can. You can frankly use 1 can for 5 or so pressure washers. Now, you're likely only gonna have 3 or so to clean, and it's totally fine to overuse this on maybe the last one or the last couple, just to make sure everything is cleaned out. This stuff is pretty affordable. I would generally avoid getting this stuff on your skin, as I'm not sure if this stuff is toxic. I've gotten it all over my fingers, and I'll tell you what, it isn't a great feeling when things go a little numb on occasion. So I would cover yourself up a little bit, be a little bit smarter than me. But this is great. It's got some antifreeze in it and lubricant. It helps the pump run better that next season. But the big thing is those seals and those valves are not going to crack with any freezing over the winter. One other quick thing to do when winterizing a pressure washer is just to replace any missing spray tips. Oftentimes, these are the white tips. These are a little expensive. It's fine. We lose them. And frankly, they get so much use, they should just be replaced at the end of the year if they haven't been already. So we got a new white 40-degree tip here. We're just going to put that right back in so that we return this at the end of the season with a full fleet of all 5 spray tips. And that's how you winterize a pressure washer. One thing to keep in mind for those of you that aren't very smart, don't put this in your pump. This is not good for your pump. Otherwise, it goes in the gas, goes in the engine oil, not your pump oil. But this would be a great way to make sure that next year's division manager don't get screwed over by your inability to get the winterizing done. So make sure to get this done, do it right, and if you do end up using the washer one last time, make sure to just redo this process. You don't need to change the oil again, don't need to change the pump oil, but redo the pump saver, make sure to put some seafoam back in the gas, and you'll be good to go.